A 25-year-old man was remanded to prison today after denying an unlawful sex charge. Ranford Johnson is accused of unlawful sex with a 15-year-old girl. It's alleged that Johnson committed the offense between December 30th and 31st of last year. Prosecutors will proceed with a preliminary inquiry to decide if there's enough evidence against Johnson for a Supreme Court trial. The case has been adjourned to January 23rd. 10 young men arrested at the New Year's Day Junkanoo Parade started the year off on a sour note as they were hauled before the courts today. Fern Carey explains the unusual penalty handed down to some of the convicts.
The court ordered 36-year-old Javin Strawn, wearing the gray sweatshirt, to pay $50 to defray his court costs and donate $50 to the Ranford Home for Children for using obscene language at the New Year's Day Junkanoo Parade. Strawn is among 9 other men charged with breaking the law at the recent parade. Last week, 7 young men were charged with similar offenses following the Boxing Day parade. During today's proceedings, 20-year-old Kemp Road resident Angenico Cartwright, wearing the Hilfiger shirt, was granted $3,000 bail after pleading not guilty to having 2 grams of marijuana in his possession. While Anton Meadows denied that he behaved disorderly, used obscene language, and assaulted a police officer at the parade, he was granted $3,000 bail with a surety. Jermaine Bain also pleaded not guilty to acting disorderly, using obscene language, and assaulting a police officer, and was granted $3,000 bail and ordered to report to the nearest police station in his area 3 times a week. However, Prince Pierre was discharged by the courts after pleading guilty to vagrancy. But 22-year-old Jamie McKinney will have to donate $50 to the Persis Rogers Home for the Aged, $50 to the Ranford Home for Children, and he'll have to pay court costs after pleading guilty to throwing missiles. For unlawfully carrying a folding knife, Brian Rowe was remanded to prison until Thursday, while 18-year-old Shaquille Clark will also have to spend the next 3 days behind bars for throwing missiles and disorderly behavior. Rowe and Clark initially pleaded not guilty, but later changed their pleas to guilty. Chief Magistrate Roger Gomez admonished all defendants to learn how to behave when they go in public, noting that a minor offense can trigger something bigger. Fern Carey, ZNS News.
Well, last evening, hundreds gathered at Arawaki to find out which group won the New Year's Day Junkanoo Parade. All of the groups put on a stunning performance, but only one could get the crown. And just in case you missed the results, here they are.
With 3,296 points, Prodigal Sons. Overall, 5th place with 3,521 points, Music Makers. In 4th place with 4,454 points, Roots. In 3rd place with 4,463 points, Saxons. In 2nd place with 4,595 points, One Family. In 1st place with 4,739 points, Valley Boys.
Oh, there you have it. In other news tonight, NEMA Director Stephen Russell has responded to queries over millions of dollars in agency funds. He was reacting to a recent newspaper article which alleged that NEMA officials were unable to account for $20 million. Russell denies that the funds are unaccounted for, explaining that officials were unable to trace the money through the relevant documentation.
In 1992 and 1999, after Hurricanes Andrew and Floyd, you were doing something right. We had a centralized operations in terms of controlling of funds from this office here. Okay. Now, what happened after 2000 to 2007? I think the governor today tried a decentralized operation where funds went into various districts. Okay, and we've been having the difficulty trying to match up the funds. Okay, my task was to do an audit, so I'm having difficulties trying to track down documents just to match the documents. Not that funds were missing. Okay, we know that work was done, goods were provided, and services were provided. So we just simply, for audit purposes, we're trying to match documents. 20 million or whatever came in, it went to the various districts, I was simply asking, where are the documents to support the $20 million that came into the agency?
Now, Russell added that measures are now in place to ensure that that doesn't happen again.
Operation. All goods and services that are needed anywhere in the islands, we procure the goods and we write the checks for the persons and make sure they're paid as soon as possible, once we can match the invoices. That's why the finance office is always on my side to make sure we are connecting, crossing the T's and dotting the I's as we go along.
Meantime, the National Emergency Management Agency received 2 financial donations today. The first from BTC, $25,000 to assist in restoration efforts in the Family Islands. BTC CEO Jeff Houston said it's the company's hope that the affected islands will return to a state of normalcy soon.
On behalf of BTC, we felt very touched as well, both our people and our business, by the impact of Hurricane Irene. And we feel it's the least we could do to help restore some normalcy, as you say, to the islands. We feel it's a great way to start the new year, actually to confirm that commitment to getting things back to normal. We hope 2012 will be a fabulous year for the people in the islands, and that this will help hopefully go quite a way to actually helping people make 2012 a great year for them.
Second donation was presented by Dr. Rhonda Chipman Johnson, Bahamas Consul General in New York, on behalf of Bahamians resident in New York.
When I read of the devastation and the damage that had occurred in our family islands in particular, I immediately put pen to paper and wrote to the Bahamians in the New York area, and the tri-state area in particular, Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, and said, we are our brother's keeper, and let us see what we can do to help with the repairs. And so I was able in a short while to garner some support, and we raised just over $4,000. I'm very happy to say, and I'm happy about this given that we are in a time of recession and people still dug deeply into their pockets and they were able to make a donation. So
the body of late former Governor General Sir Clifford Darling lay in state today in the foyer of the House of Assembly. Dignitaries filed past the coffin of the former cabinet minister and trade unionist who died last week. They remembered the life of a man hailed as a national treasure. Sir Clifford's body will lie in repose at the House until the state funeral service set for Thursday at Zion Baptist Church, East and Shirley Streets at 11 a.m. Among those paying tribute to him today was House Speaker, the Honorable Alvin Smith.
Here in the Bahamas and elsewhere in the world, persons, some of them seem to change as they move higher up as it relates to success, but not Sir Clifford Darling. Sir Clifford was very humble. He was humble from his beginnings, and he was humble to the very end. But what I think what Bahamians would like to appreciate, and what I appreciate most, is his genuine commitment to service. It was not a show. It was not to gain attention. He served from his heart.
Now, Sir Clifford was the first Member of Parliament for the Angliston constituency. Today he's being remembered as having a real heart for the people and pushing for the advancement of Bahamians. Shanique Miller was in the Angliston constituency today to hear reflections from his former constituents.
It's a different era in Angliston compared to the days when Clifford Darling was Member of Parliament. For one, the population is much younger, and ask anyone about the Labour fighter, few could say more than a few words about the area's first Member of Parliament. But a sharper eye will reveal a remnant with memories still ripe of the man they refer to as a man committed to the people.
I didn't shed my tears for him, because I know how good he was. Mine, not to say what he gave, but for the country.
77-year-old Brenhilda Jones first met the young Sir Clifford when he was a taxi driver and she a waitress.
He was friendly. He was nice. I been to his office one time to get a house, and he gave me a letter.
Brenhilda remembers the general strike of 1958. She remembers coming here to the House of Labour daily for about 3 weeks. She also remembers the simple things like Sir Clifford ensuring the thousands that gathered ate and that they were informed and motivated to stay the course.
Crowd was so heavy, child. We couldn't hear. Only when who you know, will tell you what happened. But everybody was together and down there.
And later, in the lead-up to the 1967 general election, when Sir Lyndon Pindling would form his team, it would be the young Clifford Darling that came knocking on her door, asking for support.
He was a good man. Them too. They was good for this country. Because I know what this country was. This country was down to eight. And wasn't for this man, Doug would have been better than us.
As time passes, the story and contributions that Sir Clifford made are fading, like many of his generation. Brunhilde hopes that the moments that framed Bahamian history so long ago can live again through history lessons in schools.
The young people don't know where we came from, you know. Then you ask them a question, they can't tell you who they are.
With all of her paraphernalia of Sir Clifford lost, Brunhilde cherishes a portrait of Sir Lyndon Pindling. As she looks forward to joining the rest of the country in saying farewell to Sir Clifford on Thursday, this former hotel worker is comforted by the fact that she was able to speak with Sir Clifford during a chance meeting last year.
I say, how you doing? He say, I'm doing all right. I say, you remember me? So he look at me, He say, yeah, your face look familiar. I say, I used to work at the Chinese rice house when you was the taxi driver. So he look again, he say, oh yes. He say, I remember you.
Shanique Miller, ZNS News.
The 8th annual Bahamas Film Festival may be over, but people are still talking about its success. The event held at the Galleria Cinemas recently highlighted some national issues while showcasing some young and talented Bahamian filmmakers. Members of the group paid a courtesy call, and the Minister of Culture, Carla Palmer, was there.
My name is Taina Johnson, and I'm a filmmaker and a movie star.
10-year-old Taina Johnson may not own an Academy Award, Screen Actors Guild, or Golden Globe Awards, but with that winning smile, upbeat attitude of perseverance, and acting skills to boot, she's begun her ascent toward her dream. For now, she's walking the red carpet of the Bahamas Film Festival, and she's not alone.
My film is Life as Talina, and it is based on bullying, academics, and friendship. I made my Life as Talina because there's lots of children getting bullied and they fall down at academics, and some friends who you think are your friends are not really your friends.
My name is Bernard Farquharson. I'm 17 years old, and I'm a writer, director, and actor in my movie. The movie is called Behind Those Eyes. I thought about what it would be like to be blind and how we take for granted the ability to see.
Hold on. First, you didn't know who I am, and now you've been stalking me?
No.
You don't know anything about the accident.
I know.
Just look at me when I'm talking to you!
I'm sorry, Penny, but I can't.
Those films, along with Dare Me by Tanique Brown and I Am Beautiful by Omega Curry, highlighting parental neglect and domestic violence respectively, were all winners at the Bahamas Film Festival held recently.
Mommy!
Nikki, stop. I'm watching TV. I'll never forget you, Fargo, Christopher Leviticus Brown. You took away something from me I may never be able to replace. You thought I couldn't do it, but I did. And for once in my life, I feel beautiful.
The themes of the films not only showcased some of the country's social ills, but offered solutions to each problem. Culture Minister is Charles Maynard.
And looking at young people who think like that, who want to be able to enlighten other young people, just caused me to realize that, again, the future of filmmaking is good.
The Bahamas Film Festival was organized 8 years ago by Sally Moss.
I think we kind of like missing the boat by not putting a lot of resources into this and going into this direction because, you know, entertainment is a mega billion-dollar industry.
Carla Palmer, ZNS News.
With city markets closed in Grand Bahama for now, SuperValue Food Store's chief, Rupert Roberts, told us his company isn't considering an immediate move to that island. He's concerned about Grand Bahama's economy and the number of food stores already serving residents there. Roberts told Fidelity Business that if his company's Abaco division considers a move to Grand Bahama, they may facilitate a store in the Seahorse Shopping Plaza. J.S. Johnson Insurance Company reported a total net income attributable to ordinary shareholders of $1.6 million versus $1.7 million in the third quarter of 2010. That's according to Royal Fidelity's analysis report for J.S. Johnson for the third quarter of 2011. J.S. Johnson's underwriting arm saw a 60% decline in net income for the 9 months ending September 30th last year, from $3.5 million to $1.4 million in 2011. J.S. Johnson's management attributed this to a steady increase in claims, which was exacerbated by Hurricane Irene last year, August. The Utilities Regulation and Competition Authority, IRCA, released its new fee schedule. The annual fee schedule is calculated based on a licensee's relevant turnover. Existing licensees will be invoiced at the end of each calendar year for the annual IRCA fee, and licensees must make full payment within 30 days of being invoiced. Late payment will attract a statutory interest under Section 94 of the Communications Act at a daily rate of 4% per annum over the prime lending rate as published by the Central Bank of the Bahamas. In international business, the oil price has risen sharply on optimism about the global economy, as well as fears over Middle East tension. Brent crude was trading at $110.91 a barrel, while U.S. crude was up $3.34 to $102.17 a barrel. Better than expected survey data from the U.S., China, India, and some Eurozone states boosted hopes for a global recovery and increased oil demand. Remember, you can send us an email or join us on www.znsbahamas.com or become our friend on ZNS's official Facebook page.